Welcome back to the Hooper's Paradise podcast, where you're gonna get real thoughts and opinions from fans who love the game. Obviously, I'm here with my regulars, my mans, and we got a special guest with us. But I'm gonna introduce obviously my regulars first. I'm gonna go with Mr. CP 905. You already know the East End and West End legend.
We here.
Um,
We here. We got a big one today. We
yes,
got a big
sir.
one today.
Mr. MC Casey, fresh off a flight. Hardest working man in show business.
Yo,
Man,
Gilly, he just came from the barber.
yeah.
Sorry.
Hey, Casey, man, you got the red eye flight you just had, or what was it? Where you
I
coming
just
from?
came off a flight from Hamilton, So
Man. And then obviously,
Yo, Casey,
as you
that was a
guys
good
can
one.
see, we got a special guest today, a friend of ours, a real big friend of the show, Mr.
Yes,
Gilbert.
Mhm.
We like to call him Gilly. Back in high school, we called him Chocolate Thunder. Mr. Chocolate Thunder himself. Gilbert's coming to us with a lot of basketball knowledge. Gilbert played here locally in Brampton at Cardinal Leger, where some of these guys went to high school. Definitely went on.
That's your favorite school, eh?
Now relax. Went on to a JUCO career at Blackhawk, and then wrapped it up at D2, playing Southwest Baptist. Played some pro ball, continuing still playing pro ball. I know he's into some tryouts right now and into some workouts, deciding on some teams. Models in his spare time. He do a little bit of everything.
As you guys can already see.
Gilly stay busy, man. He do a little bit of everything. Gilbert, man, thank you for coming out tonight, man. We appreciate
No
it.
problem. I have a lot of inputs on what's going on in the basketball world right now. So
Hey,
man,
we're excited to hear it. We're excited to hear it, man.
But before you get to it, since you're our first guest, we want to be able to ask all of our guests, what does Hooper's Paradise mean to you, brother? When you hear that word, when you hear that phrase.
Hooper's Paradise, it gives you it gives you kind of like, it gives you like a gist of what's going on in the basketball community. You feel me? And it's good to hear locally and what's going on in the GTA area, what people are thinking about and how people feel about, especially the Raptors and what's going on in basketball. Because basketball right now is growing for us. It's not the same as it was about like when we were in high school and whatnot. Just a lot of exposure, a lot of different things going on, and so it's a good platform to give people an update on what's going on in the area that we live in and we grew up in. You know what I mean? So I'm happy to be here.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
We appreciate that. You making it sound like we the voice of the
Hey,
city.
Hey, Gilly, I like that.
Got me
I like
feeling
that.
good about myself.
Yeah, I like that, Gilly, man.
Hey, before we get into the basketball content, just because I know we got some listeners from all different aspects, different ages, different cultures, etc. And we got a pro in the room in reality, which is rare that you get to have a pro athlete in the room. Tell us about like that kind of like pro grind in terms of, because we know you do some modeling, we know you work too, like and play pro basketball. Like, how do you balance like that train but work lifestyle?
Yeah, your grind must be different, bro.
This grind is very different. You have to understand when you're doing these type of things. Like you time it. Like I'm really realizing that time is limited. You know what I mean? Like I really like in a 24-hour day. Like I'm going up and down, making sure I'm making the money that I need to make, and making sure I'm getting the shots up that I need to get up, and I'm making sure I'm still making time for the people that I know in my life. You know what I mean? So all those aspects and all those different areas that I have to hit on a daily basis is crazy. It wasn't like that. It was kind of different beforehand, simply because I feel like I had more time and I didn't have to work as much when I was younger. But now that I'm like a 30-year-old man, I gotta make sure I have to hit certain boxes on a daily basis.
Real
And
responsibilities.
yeah, I have responsibilities, and I also have to make sure that I'm meeting the deadlines that I have to do, and it gets crazier as you get older. You know what I mean? And it's all about balance, basically. I'm making sure you have to be disciplined when you're doing these things, because you don't know when you don't know. I don't know when I'm going to get an audition. I don't know when I'm going to get a call to go try out for a team. Like I have to make sure that I'm staying ready, prepared in all aspects.
Speak to that preparedness. Speak to how you stay ready.
how do I stay ready? Well, I make sure I have to have a routine, right? I wake up and make
There we
sure
go.
so I have a routine that I go through every day. Me and Gabriel, what I'm saying, we get up, we work out. Gabriel goes to the gym, make sure healthy, get my shots up. After that, I'm networking. I'm on LinkedIn trying to see who I can connect with and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I stay in touch with coaches, making sure I'm trying to set up dates and where I can showcase myself. And then I'm making sure that I'm again working and make sure I'm still able to do the daily purchase of things I need to purchase on a daily basis. You know what I mean? Because obviously, when you're on this grind, like these grinds don't pay the grind doesn't pay the bills. You feel
Sure,
me?
for
The
sure.
grind doesn't pay the bills. The modeling and everything else that I'm doing is paying that, and then eventually, I know I'm betting on myself, making sure that when I do get that call, the next call I get, they're gonna know who I am, and then they won't be able to deny me. But it's
That's
just
what's up.
betting on
That's
yourself,
real.
That's what's up.
making sure that you're ready and you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Don't just. Here's the thing, young Coopers feel like oh I don't need to do this, or I don't need to practice, or I could take this time off. Da, 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 da. I was that guy where I was more nonchalant about when I would get my opportunity. I think I would just be able to perform whenever the time comes, right? But that's not the case. You have to be prepared, and you have to make sure you're prepared. Don't just think, because don't be that guy who skips 2 or 3 workouts, and but you have a workout next on the fourth day, and you think that you're gonna be able to. You
Yep.
got to be prepared. You got to make sure that leading up to that time, you're not going out, you're not doing this, you're not smoking, you're not doing all that. You make sure that you're on your P's and Q's. You feel me?
Basketball's so competitive. What you're not doing, so when you're sleeping, somebody else in the gym shooting.
Facts.
Exactly. That's the thing that makes me wake up every day. Like I'm telling you, like I'm
That's
thinking like
beautiful to
someone
hear,
else.
Gilly. That's beautiful to
That's
hear, man.
someone else. Yo, the thing about it is when you go to these things and you go to these trials and you're grinding, it's basically make or miss. You know what I'm saying? Like for me especially, like I'm categorized as a scorer. I'm a Swiss Army knife. I can do a lot of things on the court, but most people know that I put the ball in the basket, right? See what I'm saying? So when it comes down to, just like we were talking about earlier today, when it comes down to, you could have an off night. Do you feel me? The CP knew me for years. I could put the ball in the basket. But if a coach sees me for the first time and I have an off night, that's my MO for until I change
Yeah,
his mind, right? You see
for
what I'm
sure.
saying?
Damn.
That's the scary. That's the tough thing about it.
That's
So,
crazy.
so I listen. I could put the ball in the basket 10 days in a row, killing people. On the 11th day, a coach sees me, and I play like garbage. You think he's gonna pick me up?
No,
Or do you think he's gonna go based off the 10 days he didn't see, and he's
it's
just
it's
hearing
what
about it?
it's what have you done for me lately?
Yep.
Exactly. What have you done for me right now? What am I seeing right now? And that's the
Yeah,
scariest thing about basketball, man. I'm telling you, like, if you don't get the right people seeing you at the right time, you feel like your time is wasted. You feel me?
does
And
that
so
does
That's
that's
that
why
does
that's
that
real.
does that political side of it make you lose a love?
I'm not gonna lie. When during the pandemic, and obviously when things were going, like, again, I had the opportunity prior to pandemic that obviously the pandemic um washed away, you would say. But yeah, it made me lose some love, because it's like, I like, as a basketball player, everyone's played basketball. Jamar, you I feel like you're a great basketball player once. Not say you're not now, but when I
he's
first getting
sneak
it.
this in you, Jamar.
No, I'm not. I'm
Yo,
not
Gilbert,
sneaking.
I don't. Hey, man, I've strapped up a
Yo,
lot of pros, man. I ain't worried
yeah, I'm
about that.
not
We, hey,
saying
we can
here.
hit the
But
court today.
here's a side note. Here's a side note. I always thought about this when I was growing up. When I first seen Jamar, when I first seen CP, I was like, these guys are talented on a different level. You feel me? Like, these are different type of basketball players in my mind. How I in my based off my opinion. You
Damn,
feel me?
thank you,
So
Gilly.
that's what I mean. You feel me? Now
All
you
right.
don't play now. You see what I'm saying? You made now seeing your watch. I'm saying, well, I'm pretty sure if you
You
put it
right
up
though.
to
You
put up some
right.
time, a couple months, yeah, you could come back to some type of form. You
Nah,
feel me?
2 years, Gilbert. I need 2 years. I don't need a couple months.
But I even know I lost train of thought. I didn't even know where I was going. But what was
At the end of the day, man, you speak to the grind, you speak to the stick-to-itiveness that it takes, you speak to the confidence that you have to continue to have to be able to have to, on that 11th day you play bad, to know that, all right, I need to hoop better these next 10 days to hope somebody can catch that eye. And man, it's beautiful to hear. It's beautiful to hear that you still have the love for the game, and it's good to see you doing well, Gilly, man.
Most definitely.
And I always say, man, for young athletes out there, just as a fellow coach, Gilbert kind of spoke on it, that the one thing a coach can't teach you is consistency. That's something you got to do in the gym by yourself. And Gilbert kind of talked about that in the sense where it's like coaches might see you and then you got to change their mind in a way just because you had that off night, and you got to get back to that consistent level of playing and consistently show off your pro level skill. For Gilbert, it's scoring, where he's got to consistently show off that he's a pro level scorer. Well, man, we're excited to have you, and it was a good shout out to like your brothers too, who also went on and played some college. Gilbert has two brothers who both play college ball too, which is pretty impressive, man. Casey, anything, brother?
Yeah, so I actually want to commend Gilly because he's the oldest brother, and you have his two youngest brothers looking at his hard work. Imagine Gilly was, going to school in Peel, and then after high school, he left. Now, when coming back, he's doing that hard work. It's different. It's a different atmosphere when you go into the States and they're training every day. They're lifting every day. They're working on their game. But Gilly, I commend you now because you're doing two hard things. You're a pro athlete and you're also a model, right? And you know what it takes to be that pro athlete, and you know what it takes now to be that model. So you're doing two jobs at the same time, and you're doing a wonderful job. Sooner or later, I think on this podcast, we're going to make sure and shout you out. But brother, I've seen your work over the last 10 plus years, and you just keep it going, man, because you have fans. You have fans.
Get that man his flowers, B.
Hey, shout out Jake Champs. Shout out Jake Champs. Get
that man. With they stupid ass. They be clapping way too damn much on that shit. All right, man. But damn, well, that's Gilbert. We're excited to have him. We're gonna definitely get spicy and talk about some basketball stuff. And when I say spicy, I'm gonna automatically say Spicy P. And talk about Mr. CP 905's team right there. It's all of our teams in reality. Like, we all love the Raptors, but
definitely
CP got a different kind of bias at times.
Is it biased, Jamar? I said Raptors are a top 6 team in the East. Is it biased?
We all agree. Okay, here we go. So Raptors are on a run right now. The Cavs are missing some players. They've kind of been dropping some games. Chicago Bulls also been dropping some games, and Raptors have sneaked into the 6th seed in the East. Do we see them finishing top 5 over Chicago and Cleveland, and even Brooklyn? We got to throw Brooklyn out there. I'm gonna go with Gilbert first because he the fresh one on the show. Do you see them finishing 5th in the East, Gilbert?
So that means they would have to overpass who? I don't.
Chicago. They have to overpass
Chicago, and they got to stay ahead of Cleveland and Brooklyn.
Yep.
These Raptors, man, I'm telling you right now.
You sound like, Gilly, you sound like a stressed Raptor fan that's watched them from
1998. I watched them from a while, from Chris Bosh days to TJ Forward days. You feel me? Like, you don't understand.
Back to 95, Gilly, man.
They call their own days. Like, I've seen it all. You know what I'm saying? And the Raptors, man, I'll tell you right now, whatever seed they finish it, either it's 5th or 6th or whatever the case is, I think they won't get past 5th. I mean,
so 5th seed is their ceiling.
Yeah, their ceiling. Simply because I feel as if, for me, they just don't have that one person that could really close out a game in general. For me, they don't have that. They don't have a close. They need star power.
Oh, CP's coming for you.
Nah, but yo, Jamar, this might surprise you though.
Have it? They don't have.
I agree with Gilly.
Okay, so and that's what sets most teams apart, and that's why I'm not gonna bet against. I'm not gonna if it's Raptors or Philly, or if it's Raptors or Raptors or Boston, or if it's Raptors or Chicago, whoever it is, I can't bet against a team that is gonna has a talented has talent in the playoffs.
So I'm gonna ask you this question then, Gilbert. Is there
Gilly,
a team?
that's crazy.
Is there a team at the top of the East? Because if we finish fifth, as of right now, we would be penciled in to play either Boston, Miami, Milwaukee. No, I'm just naming off all the teams that could drop to fourth. So that's Boston, Miami, Milwaukee, Philly. Can we beat any of those teams in the 7-game series? In your opinion?
So let's go down the list right now. So let's go with. So we said let's go talk with Boston. Right?
We start with Boston.
Down the list.
Yes, we can beat them in a 7-game series.
Are you really
just yes or no?
Yes, we can beat them in a 7-game series.
No, okay. He said no. Okay, he said no. Milwaukee.
No.
Miami.
No.
Philly.
Hold. Second. 1 second. Sorry.
Shout out Kobe.
Yo,
Gilbert.
Did he just leave mid pod?
Oh man, yeah. This has to go on the social media.
Did he just leave mid pod? Yo, ladies and gentlemen, we've never had this done before. Our special guest just left mid pod. He's just like, I'll be right back, man. That's crazy.
My
bad. No, it's all love, man. It's all love. We know you. We understand you're a busy person. So you said we can't beat any of the top 4 teams.
Oh shit!
So Gilbert says basically we can't beat any of the top 4 seeds in a 7-game series. So I'm gonna go to Christoph and McCasey now, and I'm gonna ask you to make a case on when Raptors finish 5th, because I know you both have also agreed that you think the Raptors are going to finish 5th in the conference. So when the Raptors finish 5th, McCasey, because CP's still laughing at Gilly, yo. When they finish 5th in the conference, do you see them able to beat any of those top 4 teams? Like, what does that playoff round look like?
So if we think about the team that I feel is in first right now, and they're probably going to drop to 4th. That's the 76ers. I feel like in a 7-game series, it's up in the air. It all depends on James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, and Tobias Harris. They're really great players. I just feel that James Harden is going to be the guy who needs to show up. So I'm going to say Raptors in 7 against the 76ers. If you're looking at Miami, Tyler Herro's their saving grace. Everyone else, obviously, Bam has a great matchup. We've always said Bam versus Siakam, who's the better guy. That's another conversation. However, in a 7-game series, if everyone's healthy and everyone goes together, I say that Raptors may win in a 7-game series during the season. That's a season, but when it comes to playoffs, who knows what's going to happen? When you look at Boston, that's a tough team. My gosh, that's a tough team. All right. When you look at Milwaukee, Milwaukee has over Raptors. So Milwaukee and Boston have over Raptors right now. Chicago, I don't know about, but Raptors finished 5th. And if it's 4 or 5 and they go against Philadelphia, because I feel like Philadelphia's going to be dropping, Raptors may win a first-round matchup.
CP, give it to me, man.
To be honest with you, like the only team that really worries me is Milwaukee, and that's just because of their size. Raptors have I think Nick Nurse, especially in the first round, like he could be the difference between a couple games that they win, and for real, right? And I think that if we see Philadelphia, we've already proven that we can game plan for Joel Embiid. And I'm sorry, but James Harden, I don't know if he's hurt or he just does not look like the same James Harden who we've become accustomed to seeing playing, right? So to be honest with you, I think if you want to stand out there and dribble, and then under 10 seconds do high screen and roll, that's very easy to game plan for. I see Raptors beating Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. I see Miami. To be honest, I look at Miami and I look at the Raptors and I see a duplicate of each other. And I think that would be the hardest 7-game series in round 1 of this year's playoffs. It would be grinded out, mucky. Games would be 87-93. and that's how I think that series would go. I think and I think it will be the same thing with Boston to a lesser degree. I think us as a more would have to be work more defensively, just based on we having the length and the wing defenders to throw at Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They also have the similar type of switchability like the Raptors do. So I think that brings you down to another grind out series. And I do agree with Jamar, as we were speaking off camera. The difference in that series could be Robert Williams, because if he's rebounding at a high rate and defending the rim at a high rate, it's going to create a gap, because Raptors don't have that, unfortunately, because Kevin Birch is injured. Now when you get to the Milwaukee Bucks, I just think they have the size, the strength, the athleticism. They have the guy in Giannis to go to. They have the 3-point shooting. They have the wing defenders to guard Pascal and the length to put on Gary Trent Jr. and Fred. So I just see us being on Milwaukee. We lose that game 6-2, that series 6-2. So really, realistically, Raptors have a chance to beat Cleveland, Bulls, Boston, Miami, Philadelphia in any type of matchup. Anybody else?
Okay, I'm gonna agree with you and McCasey here, Gilbert. I'm gonna have to say that we have a chance at beating the top 4 seeds.
I'll be honest with you, we do. If you break it down,
I'm gonna speak on it like this, especially when it comes to Philly. We keep talking about how Raptors can stop them, and I know it sounds crazy that we're saying Raptors have a chance at a team that arguably has the MVP and a former MVP. But there's one thing that nobody talked about, which is Raptors don't have the greatest offense, but we put on the court 5 guys who all are threats.
Yes.
And that forces James Harden to be a defender.
Yeah, because
and I think that's going to really bother that in that series, because I'm not saying James Harden is a terrible defender, but we've seen him fall asleep on defense a lot. And I think with the way Raptors dribble handoffs, the way we move the ball, I think it bothers them. I think we swarm Joel Embiid a lot, and we force guys like Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris, and Niang to make big shots in the playoffs. So that's why I feel like we got a little upper edge on like Philly, just because of the swarming defense. And I think we can really bother Harden's pick and roll. Miami, I agree with CP. The switching, really similar team, is tough. The only team essentially in the top 4 I see will really, really struggle with is Milwaukee, and I think we'll have a lot of trouble with Boston, actually. Just because they're the same thing as us, like you said, but I think they do it at a higher level than us right now. They're going in with momentum. They've been the best team in the East in the second half of the season. I think their coaching has been great. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have really stepped up. Marcus Smart has done a great job at facilitating and getting those guys to their spots. I think we'll really struggle with Boston and Milwaukee, respectively. Gilbert, man, tell us something wrong, man. Prove us wrong here.
Gilly, I just want to let you know you're the funniest person I know.
So prove us wrong here, because you said we can't beat any of those teams, man.
Okay.
Is it just literally off of star power?
What makes you say that? What are you looking at? What's the breakdown in your head as a professional athlete? What are you looking for?
The breakdown in my head, obviously, because I've been on the court, obviously, at a high level, and for me, when I say, for example, I'm looking at Boston right now, right, and you guys say that we are essentially the same. So now I'm looking at who's gonna have the ball in their hands most of the time now, because I don't care what really happens on the first through the first and the third, or whatever the case is. Well, the third is very important. Mm-hmm. I'm worried about, because most games are going to come down to the wire in the playoffs. We all understand that. Like, could we all agree?
Hey, Gilly, I just want to shout you out, because I was trying to explain to Jamar that diving for a loose ball through Stephen Curry's legs with 4 minutes left to go in the second quarter is not a play that you should be making.
Gilbert,
you just validated that for me.
I'm very disappointed as a professional athlete.
I appreciate that.
You don't think that every possession matters.
Gilly, don't back down. Gilly, don't back down.
I'm not saying every possession does not matter.
The fact that you guys are saying between the first and the third quarter it doesn't matter in the playoffs. If you down 20, you don't get a chance to be making a big play down the stretch.
Hear what I said? I said most games are going to be close. Because I'm not talking about going up or down. I'm talking about the third is very important, and obviously the ending of the game is going to be very important.
I just want to say thank you, though, Gilly. Yo, thanks.
So, Gilly, I have a question for you though. There's coaches in the stands, and they see you as a defensive player. You're a scorer, and you have that chance to be able to show out and obviously not injure anyone. You're making those great plays. If
That's
you're Marcus Smart there, what are you doing? You're just letting it go, or you're just saying, okay, cool, I'm going to go for it and show these guys I'm what you guys need on the team, and if you guys need me to hustle, I'm there to hustle. What are you doing?
Gilly, you're gonna dive through a man's legs? Let me hear a professional athlete.
It's not through your legs.
His livelihood.
Am I gonna dive through? I'm gonna be very conscious when I'm obviously diving.
Oh, wait, what'd you say? What'd you
just said what?
You're gonna do what?
I'm gonna be very conscious when I'm going. Like, I'm a basketball player. Like, there's different types of players who don't think about other people on the court. You feel me? I understand that I want to win, but I understand there's health, people's health and livelihoods are on the line as well. I'm not gonna necessarily, hurt somebody. If I have the chance not to hurt somebody and get the ball, yes, I'm going to get the ball.
You're not just gonna dive through somebody's legs, right, and try and take away their livelihood and how they're.
No, I'm not gonna do that. The same way I'm not gonna undercut somebody. See, it's
exactly. There's like I was telling Jamar, there's unwritten rules, right? That you don't do. Yeah,
there's definitely unwritten rules.
Okay, I'm not even gonna show the play today. I'm gonna just move on and literally say,
I just wanted
I'm gonna wrap this up and say Gilbert's the only one who doesn't think that the Raptors can win in the first of the first 4 seeds, and I get why he's saying because of star power. They do say best players win series.
I'll be honest, I think,
and I completely understand where you're coming from, Gilbert, because when you think about Philly, you think Harden and Joel are the 2 best players in the series.
But I will say, if they're going to beat a team, I see if I were to pick them to beat a team out of the top 4, I would have to go with most likely Philly. Even though if I were to have to pick out of the 4 teams,
okay,
I would say they will have the best chance of beating Philly.
So it all sounds like we want Philly in the first round.
Yes, but you have to understand that Ben Simmons was there during that time. As much as I'm a Ben Simmons fan, he didn't put the offense at a crutch when he was there, right? And now you have almost the complete opposite now, right? And we don't know how that's going to play out. I don't know how that's going to play out.
I'd rather Ben Simmons.
Wow, I mean, that's a whole nother topic on its own, Casey.
No, this is simple. All Ben Simmons needed to do was hit a layup, and the game changed.
No, hit.
What do you mean?
Oh, let's not do this. Let's not do
next,
this.
Next. No.
Not do
so right now, you wouldn't rather Ben Simmons, a healthy Ben Simmons, over James Harden?
A healthy James Harden? Who would you rather have?
So what is James Harden right now?
I said, is he healthy or not? We just talked about the fact that he doesn't seem like himself for whatever reason. So
I guess that's why did we trade him?
That one.
Why did we trade him? Why did they trade him?
But just to defend Casey, it depends what situation you're having these 2 players in.
Yes,
because right now, was Philly first prior to James Harden even being there?
Because right now, if you're talking to me right now, if Ben Simmons is on the court right now, where he's giving you his career averages of 14, 7, and 7 with his defensive impact, I'm taking that over James Harden right now. With the way James Harden is playing right now, I'm taking Ben Simmons.
So,
okay.
Hold on.
No. Okay, Gilbert, I'm gonna give you one more. Go ahead.
Just lost. Lost and didn't want to shoot no jumpers. And in the playoffs, that's the Ben Simmons that you're taking, because that has been the MO for how many years now?
Yeah, but you just talked to me. You just talked to me. You just talked to me.
You need to be a threat. Ben Simmons not a threat. Ben Simmons is playing 5-on-4.
Gilly, what does MO mean? What does MO mean? You just talked to me that you could shoot 10. You have 10 good shooting net games in a row, and the one time someone sees you at 11, they create an MO for you. About? MO don't mean nothing. I don't care about MO.
Yes, it does.
Talk to me.
We're talking about MO because we know what.
Okay, what wins championships? Gilly, what wins championships?
We're talking about
Gilly, what wins championships?
Time out on the play. Time out on the play.
Let me ask a basketball question for Gilbert.
Time out on the play. Go, McCasey. Time out on the play. Go ahead. Last question for Gilbert McCasey.
I have the last question, right? This is the last question. When you're playing and the refs are not on your side and you know that you're getting fouled and you don't get your calls, what's the mind play? Are you still playing hard or are you giving up?
James Harden's given up.
No. This is Gilly. Please answer.
This was for Gilbert. I see where you're going
James
with
Harden.
this.
Okay.
No. You're not getting your calls in your games. Are you still playing hard, or are you adjusting your game based off of not getting the calls that you want?
Obviously, if I'm not getting my calls, I'm still playing hard, but I have to make the adjustment, obviously, because what could I do if I can't force the ref to make the call. I'm gonna have to make the adjustment on the fly during the game. Whether that's not going to the basket as hard, finding my mid-range pull-up so I can get to the basket just enough, or I could get a decent look because I'm not getting to the basket and they're hitting me. I'm gonna make an adjustment. You feel me? Obviously, so. If you're trying to tell me that James Harden is going to be that guy in the playoffs who might stop playing hard, I don't know if he would. I mean,
You do know.
The rules have changed. The rules have changed for fouls, and it has adjusted. James Harden.
This turned into an attack James Harden session. I'm gonna take it away from here, man. I'm gonna definitely take it away from here because we talking way too much about Philly, and the initial question was about these Raptors, and I think we all agree that Philly is who we want, if anything.
Okay, yeah.
That's what we'll agree on. Philly is who we want. We all agree that if they do beat one of those top 4 teams in the East, Philly's the team that we feel like they got the best shot at. Is that fair to say? We could all agree there.
They got the best shot, but that's not who I want.
Okay. That's it. They got the best shot. All right. Yeah. So no, because we got to get into some other stuff.
Let's go. Yeah.
Important today. And one of the things that's important because we're talking about the Raptors kind of finishing 5th when there's a team that can kind of sneak up and do that, which is the Brooklyn Nets, who got Kyrie back full time. With Kyrie being back full time, what does that mean for Brooklyn, CP? What's the ceiling for them for you?
It puts Brooklyn in a space now where it doesn't matter where they finish, because now that you have Kyrie, the whole thing with Kevin Durant last year was what was the Gilly's favorite word? MO. He got tired, or right, one foot on the line, or he didn't have the help needed to get over the hump against Milwaukee, right? Now that you have Kyrie back full time, it puts Brooklyn in a space where it doesn't matter if they finish 8th or 1st. They're gonna be in a position with with 2 guys, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, that have championship pedigree, that have experience, that have been there before. Not to mention that are 2 of the most talented and skilled offensive players on the planet. Now going into your gym, whether that's to win 1 game or 2 games, 1 or 2 elimination games in the play-in, or a 7-game series. It doesn't matter. To be honest with you, if Brooklyn plays up to their potential now, where they've added some rim protection and some paint protection in Andre Drummond and rebounding, and they've added some more shooting with Joe Harris out, they've added Seth Curry on that weak side, it just puts them in a position to get out the East, to be honest with you.
Wow. Okay. Casey, man. What's the ceiling for those guys, man? I'm interested on this one because I feel like everybody's ceiling looks a little bit different for Brooklyn, but what's your ceiling?
Well, Kyrie struggled, playing at home. So, it's his first game out. We'll give him a couple more home games. So we'll see how things work there. But if they have their full team, they can definitely be a threat. But they also have to beat the defending champions, right? So you got to go against Milwaukee. But then it's going over to the next side. This is the West. Yeah. In the West, you got Memphis that they lost to. They got the Phoenix Suns that they lost to, right? So those are some competitors on that side too. But in terms of getting out of the East, they have a good chance. And it all depends on Mr. Ben Simmons coming back healthy, or I don't know what the reports are, and we're not Woj, so we can't really say anything. We got to wait until that guy at least plays 1 or 2 games. But we got to see if it works.
But Casey, I think Brooklyn gets out the East without Ben Simmons.
No.
Okay, Gilbert, talk to me, man. Right. What's the ceiling?
Okay, so the ceiling, I would say they're gonna make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. That they're not. I don't think they're coming out the East, simply because I feel as if they for me, especially losing James Harden, I think that was a big deal for me. I also feel like I don't feel like they don't play good enough defense, to be honest. I mean, they rely, like, for example, Kyrie's coming in, he's dropping all these points, 60, 40 points in the first half. In the playoffs, is that going to be really sustainable? Especially when if you don't have you don't have. Remember,
It's
he's
Kyrie Irving.
doing that against Orlando. He's doing that against I don't know who else he was doing that the other day, but I feel like in playoff basketball, it's very strategic, and obviously once you get to the quarterfinals and the semifinals, you're not going to be able to sustain that type of play over a 7 game series or whatever the case is. So for me, I mean, as talented as Kyrie is, I mean, at 6'2", I mean, yeah, pound for pound, probably the best scorer we ever seen. But I think it's just
Sorry, what?
Hey man,
pound for pound.
that's fair for him to say, man. That's fair for him to say. So
that's fair. What do you pound for pound? You know what that means? Pound for pound. That's what I meant. Okay, and I was saying he is the best scorer ever. I said pound for pound. So do you want to see Kyrie at 6'8"?
He's not. We can't talk about that.
Okay. I know. I'm gonna say with the Brooklyn Nets, I do think I'm gonna agree with CP. I think their ceiling is they can actually get all the way to the NBA Finals without Ben Simmons with this current roster. I think I like summing up what you guys say and bringing it back to you. We talk about star power for the last 15, 20 minutes prior to this. Give me a series in the Eastern Conference where someone has a better duel.
More
than Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. That's more talented, more skilled. And then we got to talk about the depth around them. As much as they don't have Ben Simmons, Seth Curry's no scrub. Goran Dragic's no scrub. Andre Drummond's no scrub. People forget LaMarcus Aldridge been out. He'll be back. They got Nick Claxton, another big guy who can kind of switch everything. I feel like they have enough pieces to get out the East. I don't think they have enough pieces to win a championship without Ben Simmons, but I think they have enough pieces to get out the East. And when you talked about Kyrie Irving not putting up numbers in the playoffs, I don't know if you could say that. That guy's a 27 point per game scorer in NBA Finals. He averages 24 a game in the playoffs. I think you can trust him day in, day out, and he can sustain giving you 25 plus all through the playoffs.
You know, Jamal, I thought when he was talking, and I was like, man, that's Kyrie Irving. I thought that was enough, but I guess you had to bring the stats in and everything.
No, but that's just the reality.
That's
of the
Kyrie Irving.
Sometimes you got to break it down. When we pound for pound greatest scorer of all time, you can't switch that to is that sustainable? He's pound for pound the greatest scorer of all time. You said,
he's gonna. I'm not saying he's not gonna score the ball. I'm not saying he's not gonna score the ball. I'm just saying it's gonna be sustainable over a 7 game series where people are gonna be game plan for you. Double teams are coming. You know what I'm saying? Get the ball out of your hands. See against Orlando Magic team. Yeah, that's fine. They won 10 games. I'm talking about good teams where we're talking about going against. Maybe a long Raptors team or a long Boston team that's going to be on every. We're going to prepare.
I feel you. Here. I'll give you a good example of a team. I'm gonna give you a good example of a team. How about the 2016-2017 Warriors?
Okay.
When he averaged 27 a game.
Okay.
Was that a good defensive team? That was game
I'm just saying, like, when we talk about Kyrie,
were they a good defensive team that were game planning?
How that series play out if you don't?
But that's a fair. I get what you're saying, Gilbert. But I think
I'm asking you a question. How that series play out?
Yeah, they lost, but I'm saying consistency. We're talking about a guy who averaged 27 a game on almost 50% shooting on them. So, like,
yo, Gilly, if there's 7 games in a week, Kyrie's gonna have 6 good games. How much more consistency do you want?
That's fair. But I get what Gilbert's saying, though, because it's the scheming and all that stuff is a little bit different in the playoffs. I agree with you on that.
But Kyrie is special.
I just think Kyrie's special enough to beat it. But I feel you, Gilbert.
Yeah,
Kyrie is special.
Yes, Kyrie's gonna score. Kyrie's gonna score his points. But when I mean sustained, I mean he also has to play the other side of the ball.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And you don't think that if he's exerting a lot of energy when he's doing this, right?
But
So
this
at
is
the
why
end,
you have good coaches that make matchups and good game plans. Like
Like Steve Nash.
if I'm playing Miami, right? I'm gonna put Kyrie on PJ Tucker for just as an example as a matchup. You know that guy's just gonna stand in the corner.
Hey, but you
okay.
got to remember Steve Nash's his ultimate coaching adjustment. I tell you guys all the time is just play Kyrie and Kevin Durant more.
But Jamar, you got to be under the assumption, or else this guy should be fired. Do you have to be under the assumption that you can be able to pick out a matchup like that to know that you need to save this guy needs to save his legs for the?
Sure.
If you're in the NBA, you must be able to pick that out. 100%.
Okay.
There's no way.
So to kind of sum up the Brooklyn Nets in a way, we all have them winning at least a playoff series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Which is crazy
for
because
sure.
they might end up the AFC. But when I'm looking at the standings, I don't know what the score is now in their current game. I know they're kind of playing live while we're doing this, but when you look at the standings and you actually look at who's had the hardest schedule down the stretch. So this is why I pencil in Raptors at the 5th seed. Chicago has the 5th hardest schedule moving forward for the rest of the season, where they got to see Miami, Milwaukee, Boston, Minnesota, Charlotte, Washington, New York, and the Clippers. Then you move down and you look at a team like Toronto, who has the 19th hardest schedule, where they got to see Philly, Miami, Boston, similar schedule, Minnesota, Atlanta, Rockets, Orlando, and the Knicks. The Cavs then have an easier schedule at 22, where they got to see Philly, Milwaukee, Dallas, Brooklyn, Atlanta, Orlando, and the Knicks. This is what makes Brooklyn Nets scary. They have the 2nd easiest schedule remaining.
Right now they're about to take an L to the Hornets, though. I mean, each and every
Okay.
one of these
Let's say they
losses
take
are,
an L. That gives them 7 games left.
This is
Their
why, but
7
Jamar,
games will be against the Cavs, Charlotte, Atlanta, the Rockets, Detroit, Indiana, and the Knicks.
Jamar, we speak to this like you tell me how talented the NBA is. So this kind of like this, how much stock do we want to put in this difficulty of schedule?
No, but that's what I mean by we can't contradict it, where we can't say, but it's Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving in big games, and then turn around and say, but the NBA's talented. I think this team, even if they lose tonight, they can win 6 of the next 7.
For sure.
So
go on a hot streak for
so
sure.
That's what I'm saying. We're talking about them being in a low leverage moment where they might play their way out of the play-in. Because Chicago got a tough schedule. So who knows if Chicago drops to the 7th seed and Brooklyn rises up to the 6th or 5th seed.
This is playoffs is so interesting. This playoff picture.
It's
so
just something to think about when we're talking about records. And then we got to talk about Chicago having the 5th hardest schedule left in the NBA. And I just found out a specific stat that was very, very interesting.
What's that?
When I was doing some research. Chicago is 0-15 against the top 3 teams in either conference.
Yeah,
so
because
they're playing the
contender.
top 3 teams in each conference, they are 0-15.
They're not a real contender. They're missing something.
So that's just so I'm like Brooklyn might have a better chance than we think when we think where they might land, because we thought that automatically means they got to see like Milwaukee in the first round, where they might be the team who sees a Philly or Miami. You know what I mean?
Brooklyn loses tonight to Charlotte, and Charlotte was 1 game behind them, so they're now going to be tied for 8th.
Yep. So it's getting interesting. It's really, really getting interesting.
For sure.
Man, like this is the best Eastern Conference playoffs I think we're gonna ever see in a way.
In a long time. There's gonna be a lot of factors.
When we're talking about a team that's been dominating the East all year, injuries or not, which is the Miami Heat, who I know McCasey brought up that they've lost how many in a row, Casey?
Like 4 or 5.
So they've lost 4 or 5 games, and they recently just had a fight on the bench. You know, Jimmy Butler stay getting into a fight with teammates, just for fun. With Udonis Haslem, which is surprising. Udonis Haslem and Eric Spoelstra.
Well, what's Udonis Haslem's job on that Miami Heat bench?
The player coach.
His job is player coach. His job is there to keep the locker room and those guys on the bench under control. He's supposed to be the voice of, basically, like they say how the point guard is the coach on the court. He's the coach on the bench.
Yeah.
And I think that him knowing his job, when he sees Jimmy Butler and Coach Spo going at it, I think he has to jump in there and defend Coach Spo because really he's management, realistically to me, right? And I think that Coach Spo, normally when you see those type of tussles going on the bench, that they don't last that long. But I think Coach Spo was trying to infuse some type of spark, some type of energy into the team to like for just based on how they're playing, lack of energy, missing defensive rotations, like these like it. And I understand it's making this league right now, and some of these guys have not been hitting, but I think that was all about trying to infuse some energy and some fight and some passion back into that Miami Heat bench, man. I don't know, Gilly, what do you think, man?
I definitely feel as if he was trying to get some spark, and I think it's most likely. If I'm just speculating here, but he's probably holding Jimmy accountable for some things that he probably normally doesn't do.
Sure.
Because
for sure, that's a different perspective. For sure,
because you understand, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're what they're getting dealt with by what 20, 30. I don't know what's going on there. Someone crazy. So I mean, when everyone's winning and whatnot, you tend to overlook what your star players or whatever is going on there. But simply because they are losing, and obviously it's been that way for not too long now. But post the All-Star game, I don't think they've been doing too well, right? So yeah, he probably just hold Jimmy accountable, and Jimmy was probably not used to it. You already know how Jimmy is. Jimmy's definitely one who wants to butt heads with anybody who gets in his way. And unfortunately, it had to be with Spo, and then the altercation happened on the bench. And yeah, he's probably just trying to spark Jimmy, and making sure that he's not missing any assignments, just like any other player shouldn't be doing, especially when they're losing. Because at the end of the day, I mean, everyone's trying to win games. Coach is trying to win games, and whatever you got to do to do it, he's going to do it.
Casey, let me ask you a question. Do you think that Eric Spoelstra was expecting UD to act like that? Or do you think he's like afterwards like, hey man, what the heck?
Yo, you almost got me into a fight with Jimmy.
Because
I was gonna ask for Casey, like, because he'd be catching flights and stuff. We know he was in Miami courtside watching the last game, so he hears the huddles. JC heard the huddles last time, so take us into the huddle, Casey.
I think I'm Antonio Brown or something like that.
Casey, you think Spo was like, yeah, like you think like you put
he's right. He's right. Yeah.
I'm gonna fight this 6'6" dude real quick.
And
he was going after him. I'm like, I don't know if you guys seen the press conference, but he's just like, where's
dinner plans?
I
rate that though so much.
That's a leader.
I rate that so much though. So much because it's like, room. Hey, there you go, man. Nobody
that's a leader right there. Yeah. And that explains Heat culture. And I think that's what you're gonna go with the fact that the Miami Heat are even this good with the roster that they have. Yeah, they got some good pieces, but
no, but you got it. There's no. It's the same problem with the Raptors. There's no star power.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Jimmy Butler's good. No, Gilly, Jimmy Butler's really good, but he's not a star. He's not Kevin Durant.
Is he a top 10 player in the league?
No. No, he's not.
He's not, but but there's more star power there than the Raptors, though.
He doesn't. I really agree with that, Gilly. Jimmy
Butler
doesn't strike fear.
Jimmy Butler. Who
any one of our Raptor wing defenders. Pick.
See, how do we get the Raptors back into this?
No, but you guys gotta forget, man. OG just came back. We're talking about Siakam. You're talking about a guy that can close. Siakam has done it multiple times this season. You're talking Gilly. When was the last time you watched the game?
Oh, I'm asking you a question.
No, I asked you the question first because the two games ago, Pascal Siakam nailed everything, hit the free throw, and Raptors won the game. That doesn't matter against who it was. I'm saying
Pascal been losing.
We're not gonna talk about who it was against now, though, right? We're just gonna
so I can just go on my phone.
The opponent does not matter. That's what you're trying to tell me. The opponent doesn't matter.
I did not say that.
Gilly, sometimes you gotta just take the positives away. You're a professional athlete. Sometimes you gotta just take the positives away. It doesn't matter who they're playing.
Yeah, I was at the game live last Thursday versus Cleveland, where I watched Pascal give it to them guys.
And Cleveland's a playoff team.
Yes, Cleveland's a playoff team. This is basically their first playoffs without LeBron.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do
Fair point.
No problem. Yeah, no problem.
Fair point, Gilly.
Okay, but then on the 20th, last Sunday, they faced who? They faced
Was that
the
Phoenix?
76ers, and
Okay.
who won? And there was an away game.
But we're not going to
Okay,
talk
fair
about
enough.
how they beat Phoenix.
I'll
Yeah.
give them their props to
You know
that.
what I mean?
Okay, fair enough.
And you're talking
Again.
about Siakam, 26, 10, and 5?
Again, we're just getting James Harden. James Harden
We?
just came 2 weeks ago. See what I'm saying? So they're obviously just still chemistry issues
2 weeks.
that have to be going on.
But Gilly, look, what do your eyes tell you? Does that look
What
like
do my
James
eyes-
Harden? Does that look like James Harden? You know what James Harden
No.
looks like.
No, that's the thing. Is
it the braids?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. James Harden's not even for me. James Harden's not himself.
Okay.
So you're not seeing James Harden here. You're seeing James Harden's here.
All
When you
right.
see James Harden's here, you're gonna get at top tier. You're gonna bet against him in the first round or whatever round.
Yes, Gilly, because it's been proven when James Harden is here in the regular season, he's averaging 35 goddamn points per game. When you get to the playoffs, there's some type of problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're talking about in the first
So
round,
now when we're talking at James Harden now is already right now James Harden is playoff James Harden. So what's gonna happen when you get to the playoffs?
I never said he's.
I'm saying right now James Harden is playing horrible. Whether he's hurt, whether there's something wrong with him, whether there's chemistry issues, right now James Harden is playing how he plays in the playoffs. So what happens when he gets to the playoffs now? Is he going to drop down another tier, or is he going to get better?
We don't. I would.
What does trend and pattern show you?
Yeah,
Damn, this is really been a get at James Harden episode.
He really hasn't. He really
because you know what? I think that's Raptors' easiest matchup.
Yeah,
y'all just attacking Harden today.
I don't think. You know what?
That's top 75 right there.
I know he is. That man averaged 35 points per game. You can't take that away from somebody.
Okay,
but Gilly just said it's what have you done for me right now?
Yeah, that's true. He's been saying that. He started the episode with "What have you done for me lately?"
He corrected me and said, "What have you done?" It's not lately. What have you done for me now?
I think.
I think
Embiid.
I'm not arguing the fact that we already established that Raptors. I would want to see Raptors see Philly out of all the teams.
Yeah, go KC.
Right?
Embiid would love Devin Booker right now, and I think that's a great transition over to the West because Devin Booker is he's nice.
and we got to talk about the team that we got to talk about Devin Booker, who's been phenomenal, and it's been ridiculous that he's not really mentioned in the MVP conversation. I know this is something we talked about off camera a few times, where it's like it's just disrespectful that Devin Booker and before we were saying Chris Paul are just kind of not even mentioned or not really talked about seriously as an MVP candidate.
But just to jump on that real quick, pause. Let's jump on that real quick, Jamar.
Yeah.
Who's the face? Who's the leader? Who's the face of the Phoenix Suns? Like, who's the best player on the team?
The best player on the team is Devin Booker.
From a skill standpoint.
No, from a basketball player. He's the best basketball player on the team.
Skill.
That's what I'm saying. I agree with that as a skills standpoint.
Okay,
but there's so much more that goes into it.
Yeah. Like Chris Paul is the leader. Devin Booker.
So it's hard. And then that's why it's like when you look at the DeMar and Fred era, the Fred and Pascal era, it's like one's the best player, one's the leader. And you look at the Phoenix Suns. So who do you give that MVP nod to?
For Phoenix?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not even close.
That's tough because when they were still winning, Chris Paul was top 5 before he got hurt.
Yeah, but I truly think it. I'm a believer that it should have been Devin Booker. I think we fall in love with the idea of him being a leader, which is great. I think Chris Paul's an amazing leader, but you got to add some numbers to that in a way where Devin Booker, and I think it's what helped his MVP case right now, and just for us to be able to talk about it, is that Chris Paul got hurt.
Yeah.
And those guys kept trucking along. And Devin Booker's numbers just kept getting better and better. So he reminded everybody before Chris Paul came here, we were the best team leaving the bubble, and we had the longest winning streak in the NBA at the time. And then Chris Paul came here, and everybody forgot all the work that I was putting in before CP3.
It's because,
I think Chris Paul is a great leader and he's done amazing things for Phoenix. I don't want to take that away from him, but I think we put so much towards Chris Paul's leadership. Sometimes we take away from Devin Booker's greatness.
I asked that because, like, Casey, it seems like for some players, you see how we could have this discussion about Chris Paul and Devin Booker. It seems like, to me, I'm under the impression that the best player on the best team, they may not be the best player in the NBA, but the best player on the best team is who should be your MVP of the league. But it seems to me like they move the goalpost, Casey, to like whoever they want, whatever player they want in that year, in that moment. Like, everybody puts up good numbers.
I think it's all on, oh, this guy can score 25 plus points. Oh, he can also do 9 rebounds and 9 assists. Okay, cool. But if we take it back to Kobe was that scorer. Did Kobe ever get MVP?
Did he?
He won one
league MVP. Yeah.
So who's Devin Booker going against? You know what I mean?
So and I agree with Casey when it comes to that. I think it's just too late because, like you always say, they move the goalposts. Part of being MVP is also like the storyline behind it. And it's too late for Devin Booker to build his storyline in a way where he wasn't talked about all season, but we all just like got reminded. Like I looked the other day, and this is what made me really start thinking Devin Booker as like MVP. I looked the other day and I saw that D-Book and the Phoenix Suns are 8 games ahead of second place in the West. So right now, Ja Morant's Memphis Grizzlies are second in the West. They're 15-2 without Ja. And they've been playing great. And they're still 8 games behind. Is it 8 games, I think, behind Memphis, behind the Phoenix Suns? That's to show you how great these guys have been all year. And that means that their best players have been consistently important and great all year. And we won't mention them. Yeah. And it's crazy that I'm giving you all this to say that Devin Booker should be in the MVP conversation. And I'm going to sum it up by saying Jokic should be back-to-back MVP.
We got to get deeper into that, though, because it's
we got to get deeper. We definitely got to get deeper into that one. Man, this one was fun just to have Gilly and watch you guys fight a little bit. I'm gonna do some quick flash like topics. Yes or no, you got 5 seconds to prove your point. 5 to 10 seconds.
Go ahead.
Go CP first. Memphis Grizzlies, contenders or not?
No, pretenders.
McCasey, Memphis Grizzlies, contenders or not?
Contenders.
Gilbert.
Contenders.
Better chance of winning MVP. Who's your MVP right now, I should say? CP, go.
Joel Embiid.
Casey.
Ja Morant.
Ja Morant. Okay.
That's
Gilbert.
a good one, Casey. I like that.
Hey.
I would go with D-Book still.
Ooh, I've been raving on the Ja Morant all season, but with them being 15-2 without him, it's really, really hard for me. So I'm gonna go with Jokic, who's having a crazy season. Shout out to my man's Igor for I'm gonna finally bow down and say Jokic. If Igor ever listens to this, he'll be like, I got Jamar. But but it's fun. Gilbert, man, we appreciate the time, brother. Just don't leave mid-pod again. That's mad.
Yo, that was crazy, bro.
Mad disrespectful, bro.
Honestly, I'm sorry. Some stuff going on here.
You know how busy Casey is for you to be leaving mid-pod, yo?
Hey, man, I gotta go.
Hey, yo, everybody, see the ticker below. Shout out Twitter, Instagram. We there, Hooper's Paradise.
And before we leave, hey, Gilbert, can you throw your Instagram out there real quick for people to follow up?
Yeah, my Instagram is gilbert.kofi.gemfi. This is my first, middle, and last name. Simple as that. Hopefully you guys follow, see what I'm up to, see what I'm doing. And
hey, keep your girl off his page. He be modeling this stuff. Keep your
yeah, he has his shirt off.
His page. He always got his shirt off.
He has his shirt off and shit. Yeah,
man, I be scrolling through Instagram like, don't look over here. All right, man. It was fun, man. Make sure you follow, subscribe. Man. You already know what it is. Peace and love. Check in with each other before anything. All right, love.
We out.